Greetings. Welcome back. Here we are with another episode of, I guess what I would term it to be is getting to the heart of the matter. I'm a leader of a real estate team that has 66 agents with $302 million in volume, and we've made a commitment, or I've made a commitment to them to provide them with an environment that they can triple their business, that we can triple our size, that we can grow, and we can become a force, and they can be able to create careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and legacies worth leaving to their family. And I truly believe that I can do that, not because of me, but because of the tools and systems that I have at hand and my willingness to communicate and connect in the necessary matters in which to help grow their business and meet with them and be of service. I've had successes in life in everything I've done. However, there's this thing called imposter syndrome, and that's really what I want to talk about today. It's that nagging feeling that says you don't really belong here. They're going to figure out, they're going to see through the veil, they're going to see behind the curtain, and you're not this great wizard, you're just a guy pulling strings, right? And that's been there. That's been there for a large portion of my life, and I'm so grateful that I'm associated with a company that I can sit with a group of high-level leaders and producers, and I can say that, and there is a portion of that group that understands. And there may be some of you out there that are feeling that. You achieve success and you feel like you fell upon it by chance, right? That you don't really deserve it, right? It's that whole fake it till you make it. But, I got to be careful with that term because I think that I'm always faking it and I'm not. So how does this show up for me? Well, sometimes even after I hit big goals, and I've hit some big goals in and out of my life, and, I felt like it was circumstantial, or after I hit them, I'd hit the reset button, like I'd hit a certain level of success and feel a certain way and a certain level of confidence and pride in what I was doing and saying, wow, here I am. And then I'd hit that reset button and I'd reset myself back to zero. And as a leader, what I want to do is I want to practice humility, and I want to keep and just accept the success as it comes, be grateful for it, and then move to the next level. Sometimes this imposter syndrome causes me to overwork and push myself hard to overcompensate, for, again, a voice that really isn't true. How many of us walk around and we look confident, we command a room, we walk in there, right? But inside there's a voice saying, man, if they only knew, right? And that's okay. I'm finding out that that's okay because there's a couple of different mindset changes that have been helping me deal with it. If I hear the term, or that voice inside of me says, hey man, you don't belong here, they're going to figure you out. Or if I'm going into a new group, I'm in a new market, I'm in a new state, and I'm trying to connect with business leaders. Well, it's not that I don't belong here, I'm just stretching into something new, right? And growth always feels a little bit uncomfortable and shaky, but it's necessary. It's a necessary part of life. That feeling of growth lets me know that I'm not coasting, that I'm leveling up, right? It's not that I don't belong here. I'm in the process of leveling up, right? And then I want to replace fraud with facts. And what I mean by that is when I go in there and I say, and that voice says to me, hey, listen, man, you don't deserve this. You didn't really make this. You faked this. And that imposter syndrome starts to kick in. Time out. Let's look at the facts. Because that's a fraudulent voice. That's a fraudulent statement that's happening from within inside. And I need to quiet that down. The best way to quiet that down is to pull the receipts out and say, hey, listen, here are your accomplishments. When I made the decision to leave Verizon Communications, move up to New York, and pursue real estate, I had that conversation with myself. I said, what's going to feel worse? What's going to create more damage? Trying and failing or not trying at all? At the end of my days, when I look at the game tape, what's going to bother me more? And it was definitely not trying. And then when I realized that aspect, I realized that I've never failed anything, but I've quit some things. And then the next train of thought said, well, the things that you didn't quit, you always ended up in the top 20%, whether it was grades, sports, whatever it was. And that's because I have been, those are gifts. Those are gifts that were given to me. I take no credit in that. I'm just utilizing the gifts that my higher power has given me in different situations. So I have to understand that when I get into something, I am going to have a level of success, and I have to accept that. And I have to accept it with humility. Because if I accept it with ego, I don't move and I make myself greater than I appear. If I let the imposter syndrome kick in, then I reset to zero. So I've got to find that middle ground. And that middle ground for me is with leveraging that humility. It makes me curious. It wants me to keep learning. It's like, wow, this is a great feeling. This is a great feeling to achieve this level of success. What else can I learn? What can I do to maintain it? And here's where the kicker is. The best way for me to maintain it, to keep what I've been so graciously given as far as success is concerned, is to share it and give it away and be of service with others, right? So if I'm moving up to a certain level, if I'm achieving certain things, if my team is achieving certain things, my agents, my office, whatever it may be, I need to make sure that I am being in service at all times. Whether it mean sharing what's worked for me with somebody who wants what I've attained and is willing to do what I did to get it. Whether it's sitting down with somebody and just holding space and being there for them as a leader, or creating that space of serenity amidst calamity. So the best way for me to shift from that imposter syndrome thought, from that negative thought, from that mindset that tells me I don't belong or I don't deserve, is to jump into service and look immediately for someone who needs help, or who needs a voice, or who wants another opinion, whatever it is. And which is why I'm constantly reaching out to agents in and out of my office. Obviously, I'd love to be in business with a lot of you, but more importantly, what I'd love to do is to be of service with you. And if we could walk away from a conversation with you feeling like you've got one or two things that can help you grow, you've helped me grow. So it's a gift it's a reciprocal gift. And it really helps me stay grounded in making sure that I am not committing self-sabotage because of those thoughts. And it helps me to continue to be successful. So I'm going to include a link on this to a PDF that has just a breakdown of what I've talked about. If it serves you, great. If not, it's there anyway. If you like what you're hearing and you want to talk more about this stuff, subscribe, reach out to me. I love to have these kind of conversations. Have a great day.